Hey nerds, welcome to episode 73 of the Nerd Rundown podcast. This week, our slice of the internet has Darren and I making the biggest announcement our little podcast has ever made. We're talking huge. The two Utes talk about how freaking cool the Last of Us trailer looked. Netflix, the outlet mall of movies, drops us some delicious nuggets on the return of Tyler Rake in Extraction 2. Finally, we wrap up the show with a great nerd box question from the greatest uncle in all the land about retiring the greatest villain of all time. Ready? Hit it!
Hey nerds, welcome to another episode of the Nerd Rundown podcast, where we cover the latest in the nerd world of movies, TV, and more. I'm Darren Stemp, and you know my co-pilot, Eric Hare.
Hello, everybody.
You can find us on social media, like Twitter. Your groove voice will always make me laugh.
Thank you. Yeah.
You can find us on our social media, like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, all at the Nerd Rundown. And while you're there, hit the like and subscribe buttons, leave a comment. Always going to call you audio only people out, except for you, Captain Dunsel. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take a moment out of your day, get on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, leave a nerd box question. If we're starting to bank nerd box questions, so we'll get you on at some point, get your name on the show, and would love to call you out. And then you can also find our show on all the major podcast services.
Hi.
Mr. Eric Hare.
Yes, sir.
My co-pilot. It is with great pleasure that we have an announcement to make today.
Yes. Quite good.
This past week, the Nerd Rundown on YouTube was certified as a monetized channel.
Yoo-hoo.
I don't know if there's like an actual term for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But what that means is we've reached a certain point of subscribers, watch time, all in less than a year and a half. And go and do your research. It takes normal, on average, YouTube channels 2 to 3 years. So we've met that well before.
Yeah.
And it's an exciting time for the Nerd Rundown, because now that the show can start making some money, we can start putting that money back into the show and making the show bigger, better, badder, greater. So we thank you from like the depths of our soul for helping us get to this point.
Yeah.
I want to secondly, thank you nerds out there, but secondly, thank you, Eric Hare. This show wouldn't be 1% of what it is without you, and you have helped us get to this point more than anybody, and more than I could have ever imagined. So thank you.
Yeah.
My brother.
Thank you, buddy. Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it. I've had a great time. I've learned a ton about editing, audio, video, all kinds of stuff. It's been a really great experience up to this point. And you're having the idea of starting this podcast and including me in that. I'm eternally grateful to you for that, because this has been a really great experience. Because not only have I had a great time doing that, but I've made a lot of friends along the way. Brett and Morgan and Megan and Bill and just the whole crew, Jason, like everybody that we've had on the show. Bryant Castile, who's one of our guest hosts and stuff. So it just
one of our faves.
Yeah, it's just been really great, and really thanks to our families. Like I know that your parents are very supportive of you. I know my parents are very supportive of me in this. That's been very helpful. And just the fans
and Banana and Stacy.
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say my wife is. I sometimes I feel like, like, hey, I'm gonna go record, and I can, I can feel the look sometimes. You're like, how long are you gonna be? I'll see you tomorrow. So like, we're gonna go
Don't
record.
stay up.
Fine, I'll just see you tomorrow. So we have to be up at 6:30, and I don't want to hear any complaints that you were up till 2 in the morning doing
Oh,
whatever.
totally.
But
Yeah, it's become a part of our weekly routine.
yeah,
When are you recording this weekend?
yeah,
It's part of our weekly routine, which means that part of our week is structured around when we can do this. And so
right.
probably
when we
first,
first when we
probably
first
first.
started,
Thank
those
you for
first
getting
couple of weeks we were working out of your parents' I guess
basement.
basically your parents' basement. So I feel like Wayne and Garth, and so we were at
The-
your parents' old office, I guess, or whatever.
Mhm.
And I drive down to Golden, and you drive up to Golden, and we meet somewhere in the middle, and
Yeah, really more
record.
closer to me. But
My favorite is the one where I forgot to hit the record button on a whole.
oh
Oh,
gosh,
there's a whole episode that we recorded and or did.
honestly, that was a turning point for us.
Yeah,
Though that was an interesting moment in the Nerd Rundown that not a lot of people know about.
yeah,
We got we got done recording.
right.
We got in our vehicles, and we would get in our vehicles at that time, and we'd pull up the unedited audio version of it, and we'd listen to it. And I went to go pull it up. I'm like, did you forget to put it in the folder and
Yeah.
or something?
Well,
Can't remember exactly
I
what
think what
happened.
it was I forgot to turn on one of the microphones. So
Yeah.
only one half of the podcast recorded. The other
Oh,
person's
oh, that's
microphone
right.
was so you could hear the other person from the other person's microphone, but it was very
Right.
faint. And here you were
Yeah.
like, I can't hear half this. And
So you
yeah,
ended up having to drive back down the next day, which
yep.
Stacy, this
We
will
were
be worth it one day.
right. Yeah, that was pretty rough. It was pretty rough.
It was pretty rough,
but
but that ended up being like our fourth episode, which we always say is like that was the first episode where we really
Yeah.
felt like we finally hit a rhythm. And so maybe that doing that episode a second time gave us like it was a practice run really that we didn't ever do before that. And
yeah.
it got us in. If we found a rhythm because of that.
Yeah, we really did. And we I started using a checklist. I put together a checklist, and I like went
Yeah.
through, I like religiously went through the checklist every time to make sure that I had
Good.
everything dialed in the
Test
way
the
it was supposed
record
to. Yep.
and yeah.
Yep. So,
Yeah,
and
crazy times.
yep.
Been a long time since that moment.
Yep.
We've had a lot of people listen to us from the very first episode that I didn't know if they'd stick with us, and they have. And we thank everybody who's been a part of this.
Sure.
This incredible cast of hosts that we have. Love every single one of them.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
looking forward to the future.
Yeah, we would not be where we are without all the folks listening and commenting and participating and sharing with your friends and coworkers and whoever. Hey, if you're a nerd, try these guys out, see what you think.
Right? Yeah, a lot that's happened a lot, and big thank you to Morg too. Morg's helped grow this
for sure
show more than anybody else. So big thanks to Big Morg.
Yeah. He was such a great addition to the show. He's been such a great addition because I do love
he's become
my time
our villain,
with
really.
you. Yeah. I've loved doing the show with you, but I love having that extra voice to bounce ideas off of, and to his creativity and his thoughts and comments on various things has made me think a lot, and he just makes me laugh. He's a funny guy and fellow zombie lover, so I love it.
Yeah, so thank you, big thank you to Big Morg.
Yeah,
when we started the show, we wanted the show to be something that we give the rundown on the latest news items, and we see where it goes. It's really turned into this 2 shows that we have, present show, the podcast, because we would dig into like things in the beginning, and we'd have 2 hour episodes.
We have 2 hour shows. Yeah.
we're like, let's keep this a news item show. Let's make the presents a deep dive show and game show, whatever it might, just a singular topic really.
Right.
And our goal is to always have the rundown no matter what. That's the central aspect of our show. And even in weeks like this where it's slow week for the most part.
Yeah.
And I try to put something first on the rundown that both you and I can speak to.
Right.
I would say this first piece is not the biggest news item of the week, but and when you look at what the rundown is this week, maybe the shortest rundown in terms of notes that we've ever had. The first piece on the rundown, Eric, we get our first look at Extraction 2, Chris Hemsworth led vehicle.
Yeah.
No pun intended there.
Right.
But the Netflix movie, the sequel to the Netflix movie, Tyler Rake, badass character. What are your thoughts on it was like a behind the scenes video, but had real footage as well. And,
yeah.
Man, really cool how to do some of that. And they talked about some of the big things coming up. What do you think of the first look at Extraction 2?
I was like, holy smokes. like I thought the first movie was great, but this one looks just terrific. I mean, really terrific. It looks just incredible. And I was like, man, I can't, when this movie cannot come fast enough, fast enough. And I'm still, you had said, hey, you need to watch Extraction. I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. And I think I watched it last
on a plane
year on the plane out to see my dad, like around this time last year. And I was like, oh my gosh, what an idiot. How have I not seen this sooner? Like I watched this and I think I watched, I watched that and Fallout. And then I think I watched the Six Underground movie also. I watched Six Underground and Extraction and I was like, my God, these are two great Netflix movies. They were
should have checked your blood pressure.
Oh gosh, it was so good. So I'm excited for the return of Tyler Rake. At the end of the last one, it looked pretty grim for the guy. It didn't look too good. So, but thankfully it's Hollywood and they can, anything that's successul, they can
any little bit of ambiguity, they can really stretch.
Yeah. So I thought it's great. I thought the behind the scenes were great. The stunt work looks amazing. They've got some great helicopter work. They land a helicopter on a train, which is
for real.
For real. Yeah. Like for real. Yeah. The pyrotechnics and stuff looked pretty amazing. I thought it was super cool. They had a clip, very, very short clip of him with a handgun out and and they have this camera apparatus that's like attached to him with the camera in front, which I was like, oh my gosh, that's super cool.
So cool. I saw that too. I was like, that was cool. I actually stopped it and rewound it.
I did too. I was
like, was that I didn't realize it was a camera at first, and then once I realized it was a camera, I was like, that's gonna be cool. Yeah. And Sam Hargrave directed this. So Sam Hargrave was Chris Evans' stunt double as Captain America, funny enough.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's really close with the Russo brothers who produced this movie.
Yeah.
Or these movies. And they gave Sam Hargrave the chance to direct this movie, and he knocked it out of the freaking park on his first time. He even starred in the movie as the sniper.
Oh, okay.
He ended up dying, so he's not going to probably be in this movie. But
who knows?
You never know.
Did he?
Didn't see a body. Didn't see a tombstone.
Yeah.
So good for him, and he's getting the chance to direct the sequel as well. Very, very happy for people like that who come out of nowhere and knock it out of the park, give them more opportunities. For
sure. And I think the Russo brothers produced this, right? So so I'm pretty confident that those guys probably, there was a lot of guidance, I'm sure, along the way as to how to do that. But man, for that to be your debut film, that's pretty spectacular. And I loved how dirty and gritty everything was.
Yes.
I loved
Bangladesh, right?
And I loved how dark. we get Hemsworth as Thor a lot, and he's a little bit on the silly side from time to time, if maybe too
Right.
much for some people. Um, and this character that he played here was very gritty and very dark.
Yeah.
And it was a cool
Switch up.
it was a cool departure from his Thor character that he plays. So I really enjoyed Extraction and cannot wait for Extraction 2. I really am excited for it.
Yeah.
Extractioner,
Cannot
extractionist.
Extractioner. Yeah, I cannot wait for that movie. I remember watching the first one during that long car chase scene and just being like, I know this isn't one shot. Like
Right.
the actual they do it, they make it seem like it's
Right.
one
It
shot.
kind of, yeah.
And it's really cool how they did it, and they're planning on apparently upping the ante on this one. But I just remember watching it being like, this is like I'm shaking because it
Right.
was like so much adrenaline going in my body.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that.
For sure. Yeah, so next up, we got a tremendous trailer. So I don't know anything about this property, so I'm going to pitch it to you, but I do want to talk about it because it just looks amazing. So video games, like we've talked about, video games for the most part do not translate very well over to the small screen, big screen type stuff. We've seen, I think we've all agreed that Sonic is really the only one that up to this point that's really been able to make the jump successfully in more than one instance. You know,
Right.
we got both the first one and the second one. I think we all were pretty excited about. So we got a trailer for HBO's upcoming series, The Last of Us, based on the video game. So fill us in on that one, Darren.
Really sorry, Morg, you're not on the show here to talk about this, but leave a comment. Let us and everybody know what your thoughts are, buddy. Because this is like, if he could pick one franchise, I'd say he's a super nerd about. It's The Last of Us. He's a video game nerd, and this is his favorite video game of all time. And it's just one. It's a cinematic masterpiece as a video game, which is weird to think about and say, but it really is. It felt like you were a part of a movie watching it, or a long movie watching it. And you're right. Video games have not made the jump to the big screen like they probably could or should.
Like we just had a Resident Evil
Yeah.
series that lived and died in like 2 months time on Netflix.
One season.
Yeah, I mean it premiered this summer and they've already said nope, they're not doing another one. So
Right.
it was that bad.
And so the silver screen and the big screen are hurting with video game adaptations.
Yep.
But this might be the first time where it works. Because first of all, this trailer is phenomenal. Phenomenal. My new favorite actor in the world is Pedro Pascal. He embodies Joel, the main character in the video game, incredibly well. His voice is just spot on. The character of Bella Ramsey, I'm sorry, that's who she was. No, wait, yeah, that's her real name, Bella Ramsey. The character of now I can't think of anything other than Bella. It's Ellie. Thank you, internet. Ellie. There's a
God
lot
bless
of,
you, IMDb. God bless you.
When you get so stuck in your head, you can't think of anything else. So that was the kind of the controversy. They didn't think she was the right actress for it. She looks phenomenal in this as well, Bella Ramsey, who was on Game of Thrones. I just think that HBO Max really
she was the one we talked about, Lady Mormont.
Yeah. Yep. Who
at the
really
very end, she was like that badass.
Yeah. Yep. She helped Jon ascend to the throne in the North, the King in the North.
King in the North.
And she was just one of those, scene stealers when she was on.
Yeah.
So I think she's got the chops. I'm not worried about her. She looks great in this. I just think HBO Max has poured their real heart and soul into this to make this what it should be. That they're not just rushing something together. And
got Nick Offerman.
Get Nick Offerman as Bill. Yeah, Bill. And I cannot wait to see a dirty, gritty Nick Offerman. So
yeah,
this debuts next year. We'll probably be doing a lot more on The Last of Us as we go along. I guarantee Morgan will want to do a weekly show on it.
Yeah, we definitely do a recap for it.
So
Anna Torv is in 5 episodes. She's on the list as 5 episodes. Anna Torv, oh my gosh, super.
Sound familiar.
She did that series Fringe on Fox. I don't know if you ever watched it with Joshua Jackson.
Yeah,
she's somebody
Ashley Johnson's in this for 2.
Paint the Wall for sure.
Yeah. Gabriel Luna is in this.
He played, from the Terminator.
He was on the Terminator, but he was also Ghost Rider and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. He plays Pedro's brother in this, Tommy. So the 2 really great Hispanic actors right there that just are dynamite when they're on.
Yeah.
So we'll be covering this a lot more.
For somebody who doesn't know anything about the series, I've never played the video game. I don't know anything about it. I am a quote unquote zombie fan. So I don't know, based on the trailer, I don't know anything about what other than the clues that were kind of left in the trailer, which is that there's some sort of virus or whatever. It looks like there's an apocalypse, and then you have a post-apocalyptic world, and it looks like some sort of zombie-ish type creatures or whatever running around, but they definitely look modified. I'll just say that. So I don't know how else to describe them.
They're called clickers.
Yeah.
Clickers.
So
man, they're creepy.
I thought this. I love post-apocalyptic stuff. This trailer looked dynamite, just dynamite, and I'm like, I'm in my head, I'm thinking, maybe I should buy this video game and start playing this game before the series comes out, because I've got so much free time on my hands that
right. Well, if there was one reason to get a Sony PlayStation, it would be to play this game, to prepare yourself for this show, because there's moments in the video game that are the most gut-wrenching moments, and some of the most gut-wrenching moments in my nerdom, not just playing video games, but like in my nerdom. It's incredible. I've never played a video game and just been like blown away by what just happened. So it'll be really cool, although for you to play it, but also as we go through it and watch this, it'll be really, really cool to see the outsider's perspective on a weekly basis as well. So
yeah,
a little bit of torn between on that, but either way, it's a win for us.
Yes. Well, and another win for us is we finally got the Star Wars series Andor debuted this past week, this week.
Last week.
Last week it dropped the first few episodes of it. And so it seems to me that, at least on Rotten Tomatoes, it's getting marked as fresh. What did you think? Because you've actually watched it. I haven't watched any of it yet.
Yeah.
But what have you thought so far of Andor? How's it look? How's it playing out? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So they released 3 episodes last week, and it was really, I can see why they did that, because if they had released it, even the first 2, I just not even just the first one, but even if they did the first 2. Like some shows do the first 2 episodes at first, I think they would have lost a lot of viewers. Because it's not bad, it's slow. It's just Cassian for the first 2 episodes. There's no Stellan Skarsgård, not Skarsgård. Skarsgård. And there's no Mon Mothma, nothing. It's just all about Cassian in the first 2 episodes, and it's a little bit slow, but it's really cool to get that backstory. And
sure,
I just love seeing Star Wars universe be expanded and show real life stuff.
Yeah.
And so if they were smart and released the 3rd episode, and the 3rd episode is phenomenal. It is a heart-wrenching anxiety attack in the 3rd episode, and that is exactly what I've been waiting for this TV show. It's 89% on Rotten Tomatoes, 82% audience score. I expect that audience score to start going up now that Stellan Skarsgård, not Sarsgaard, is on it. He's in the 3rd episode, and he comes up. I think it's even in the trailer, and he's like, Cassian Andor, and he, just the way he says Andor, not Andor.
Yeah,
Cassian Andor. He's so good in it, and very, 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 very excited now for the show moving forward after that third episode. Now, how the story will expand from here.
Yeah,
very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's on the list. It's on the list to watch. I want to watch it. I'm behind on a lot of stuff. But I'm slowly chipping away and everything. I'm working on Cobra Kai right now. I'm going I'm going to swing back towards Stranger Things and then on to Westworld. So
you haven't finished Stranger Things?
I haven't even started. This final season, or I guess it's not the final season, but this latest season of Stranger Things.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I feel terrible about it. I want you to know. So, but yeah.
We love you, Stacy. Thank you so much for letting Eric do this show.
Yeah, right. poor woman. So she's really raising 3 children. So it's really what she's got one. She got 1 out of the house. So she had 4 in the house. Now she's down to 3. And the oldest one is the biggest baby of them all. He's the worst.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel that. So listen, we'll talk more about Andor. We'll probably do a show presents when it's all done, and we'll talk about how it fits into the world of Star Wars, and looking forward to more Andor.
Yeah.
Now we have the trailer train on the rundown, and we have on the first trailer from the trailer train, it's very
yes,
symmetry in our thoughts here.
Right.
Where Enola Holmes season 2 trailer is released this past week. We both are like right to each other first thing about Enola Holmes. Man, I wish I would have watched the first season.
Yeah.
Eric?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that feeling.
Yeah, I watched that I watched the trailer, and it wasn't like it took me to the end of the trailer to already to think that. Like in the first 30 seconds of the trailer, I was like
right off the
why have I not seen the first of this? Like the first one of this, because it is dynamite. Like I absolutely adore Millie Bobby Brown. She's so amazing. You know, she just looks so great. She's so charming and so funny in it, and she's the exact opposite of like the Mary Sue. You know, like she's in way over her head, you know, and just and you can't help but just like be, oh my gosh, you're so this is so great.
Just so much charisma. It's ridiculous.
You know, and you watch her and you're like, I love watching you screw up, and I love watching like things just not go the way you expect them to go and all that stuff. And I know deep inside that everything's gonna work out just fine, but at the same time, I just thought it's just spectacular. So
there's this like ignorant confidence, you know. Is he looking? I bet he's looking behind, and then he is looking behind, and then she looks behind, and he's not. And good, he's not.
I do love that fourth wall stuff that they did, you know, where she talks to the screen and everything, and I think that's terrific. I really do. I think, you know, and because of how charming she is and how much charisma she has, it really is great. So
it really makes it. But also in contrast to her, is on the other side of that show is probably my second favorite actor in the world right now, Henry Cavill, who is as big a nerd as we are. Come to find out, and go search that on YouTube. You will find plenty of great videos of Henry Cavill's nerdum coming out.
Yeah.
As Sherlock
Holmes,
as her brother Sherlock,
right?
And I'm like, and maybe it was right then when I'm like, why did I not watch season 1? I love these two people. How can I not?
Right. Well, so, and I feel like we've gotten, you know, I don't know if you've watched it or not, but Sherlock Holmes is like a Batman. Like you just get these reimaginations. They just reimagine Sherlock Holmes over and over and over again. And I have to tell you, the fact that we've gotten Henry Cavill now is playing
Yep.
Sherlock Holmes and looks spectacular.
Spectacular.
Robert Downey Jr.'s Sherlock Holmes
RDJ.
was so
Love
great.
it.
I
And
don't
the
think
third one's coming out
I
soon.
don't think that there is a better actor like in the world and to play Sherlock Holmes, but Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock Holmes
I really need to
might be
watch
perfection, might be absolute perfection because he's such a tremendous talent.
Oh yeah.
And then Jude Law as Watson is just so
awesome.
good. He's so
Awesome.
good. And I
Martin
just
Freeman
loved it.
as
Martin
Watson
Freeman
too.
Yeah,
Kidding
sorry.
me?
Yeah, Martin Freeman. Yep.
As well.
Mhm.
Well, both those are great Watsons.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, that's just got added to the list ASAP. And
Yeah.
it could be the next thing. That's how excited I am after
Yep.
watching that trailer.
Yeah,
So
I
let us
mean,
know.
just I don't know. I guess instead of a Watson, do we get a Watson in the Enola? So I'll have to watch it to find out if you have a Watson in there.
That's one of those things I want to know.
Yeah,
they have to have a Watson.
Yeah, because both those guys, Freeman and Jude Law, like I actually like Jude Law's Watson a little bit better, but Freeman is just amazing. He's amazing, and he plays a more serious, darker Watson.
Plays a badass Watson.
Yeah, he really does in the BBC series. So if you haven't watched that one,
and if you like Yellowstone, Beth gets her, the actress Beth gets her start in that RDJ series, and she is gorgeous in that.
Dynamite.
Yeah, so let us know what you thought of the Enola Holmes season 2 trailer. Next is just a big nope for both of us, right, Eric?
Yep.
The outlet of the what is it? The outlet of streaming services,
something like that. Yeah,
the outlet mall of streaming services. Hulu.
According to Brian Castile.
I just murdered his joke. Sorry. Bro.
Yeah.
Hellraiser coming out on Hulu as a TV series. Not a fan of these movies.
Nope.
Pinhead is a very
Stacy's brother Todd. He loves that stuff. He used to force her to watch it when she was a little kid because they're like 8 or 9 years apart. Yeah, basically, like, you're gonna watch this with me. His parents would make him babysit his sister, and he was like, all right, fine, we're watching Hellraiser. Poor thing.
Oh man, I not a fan of these. This show does look very well made.
Yeah,
it's
right. Production value is definitely high. You can tell that there's definitely some intrigue there. It just goes to a place that I just don't care to think about. And
Pinhead is always I don't even know if I've actually really seen the first one, but Pinhead as a staple of horror movies,
right?
And who's the creator? He's the
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker is back and creates this reimagining of Pinhead. So there's a lot of Pinhead nerds out there.
Yeah.
Love that people have nerdum about Pinhead. So
you do you.
You do.
I can't go there with you. But
seriously, this will be the last time we talk about Pinhead.
Right.
And final trailer on the train. Knock at the Cabin Door, starring Dave Bautista and Big Morg's man Jonathan Groff, and M. Night Shyamalan's newest movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of the trailer?
It's creepy. It's really creepy. Bautista is super creepy. For one, he's so intimidating. Just his sheer size.
He's walking up through this. Yeah, when he's walking up through the woods, it was like, jeez, that's the man right there.
Yeah, he's just gigantic. So I'll watch this because I'm a Shyamalan fan, and his trailers, his movies never turn out the way his trailers I know that they're cut by somebody else other than the filmmaker, so they always end up making you think that the movie's going to be one thing and then he delivers something different. So, and most of the time people
kind of feel like this trailer did that.
I've said this before. People get their expectations shattered when they go to the movie and think, well, that's not what the trailer. This movie's totally different with the trailer, so I don't like it. Well, why don't you just go see the movie and be surprised at what the story is instead of being like, well, that's not what the trailer. It's like
Yeah.
I don't know. So I definitely will watch this, although it is. I'm cautious. I'm just cautious because it's normally not my thing,
Yeah.
but I have to give M. Night the benefit of the doubt. I just always do because he's a good storyteller. He's a really good
Sure.
storyteller.
Yeah.
So yeah.
For certain things, I feel like this trailer also kind of took that form of like making you think one thing, and then a little bit of a twist at the end of the trailer where like Dave Bautista, is he in a cult? I don't know.
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
is he actually sent, or is he sent these messages and he's actually there to save
Right.
the apocalypse? Today we are canceling the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I couldn't never do Idris Elba justice. Anyway, we excited for this?
I don't know if I'd say excited, but
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I would say my hype is neutral on this, but I will watch it at some point. I don't know
more.
if I can tell you I'm not going to see it in the theater. It's something I'll see on whatever it's streaming off of or whatever at some point. But yeah, so, but
yeah, well,
there were actually a bunch.
More.
Yeah, there were a bunch of trailers that dropped because a lot of this comes from Netflix's Tadum, I guess, announcement they do. They have the big, they have their kind of, this is what's coming, that type of stuff. So they had that this week. And so there was a couple of other things I think
that's why we got to first look at Extraction 2.
Right. Yeah. All that stuff kind of came out of there. So, if you haven't seen it, the Enola Holmes trailer, we kind of picked the what we found was kind of the best of the whole thing. But we're gonna get a new Gal Gadot's got a new, or Gal Gadot, however you want to say it. She's got a series called, or looks like a film called Heart of Stone, where she plays kind of a spy. We got,
and that got an Extraction 2 style trailer where it was
very much so. Yep.
Behind the scenes footage.
Right.
Looked okay.
Bridgerton, they're getting a Bridgerton spinoff that's coming out. Queen Charlotte, I think is what it's going to be called. It's a prequel.
Oh, yep.
So I have to say, they did release another Jennifer Lopez movie. She's got one called The Mother.
Where I could not get through it.
Yeah, it was tough. It was hard to watch her run. Like I got to the point where it was clearly her running, and I was like, girl. I was like,
okay. Just walk.
Yeah, you should have just walked really, really hard there. So there was another trailer for another one called They Cloned Tyrone, which with Jamie Foxx that looked really funny. Like it looked.
And what's the Star Wars?
John Boyega. Yeah, John Boyega. Yeah. And so it looks pretty funny. I think the final thing that I watched that I wouldn't say it changed my hype level, but it made me more interested was there was a clip from the Wednesday series that they're doing, which is of the Addams family, where they
introduce all the characters, right?
Well, no, this is the one where it's just Jenny Ortega who's playing Wednesday Addams, and Thing is in the room with her, and so she has this whole scene that she does with Thing, where Thing does sign language with his hand, and they have a conversation back and forth where her parents sent Thing in to spy on her, and she's like, you didn't think I was going to smell your favorite hand lotion, like in the room. It's really funny. It is a really great scene.
I wonder if they released two, because there was one that introduced all the side characters from the Crazy School.
Oh, maybe.
I shouldn't say Crazy School, but the she gets expelled and the Gifted School.
School, I don't know.
I need to go look for that.
I didn't see this one, but it's called the trailer's called, or at least the clip is called Wednesday Addams versus the Thing, or versus Thing, and it was really clever. It's a really clever scene, and I was watching that going, that actually looks really good. So
I'll have to go look for that.
Yeah. So Tadum I wouldn't say it was great. There's not a ton of stuff on there. I think really the only thing that I found that I'm not going to miss is the Extraction 2 and Enola Holmes. I think those are the
For
only
sure.
two that kind of came out of that. But
Yeah,
but yeah.
absolutely.
Yep.
Cannot wait. Cannot wait for The Last of Us. Can't wait for Andor, more of Andor. Can't wait for Extraction 2. Can't wait for Noah Holmes.
Yep.
So we keep saying this, man. Nerds, certain kind of nerds are eating good these days.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? There was one other thing I meant to mention. We did get a clip, an exclusive clip from the Glass Onion, a Knives Out.
Oh yeah.
Mystery one that they're doing with.
Forgot about that.
Yep. With and it's really great because it kind of shows the introduction of all the characters that are invited to the island, you know, and so it looks they all get a puzzle box and they have to try and solve this puzzle, and so it's really great. It is really, really great. And another Dave Bautista.
Yeah, he
is dynamite in that clip. He just is like total opposite of the character that he played in the Knock at the Cabin Door, because he's like it looks really good. And Kate Hudson looks amazing. Just everybody, it looks good.
Your buddy DJ is going to get overtaken by Dave Bautista if he's not careful.
Yeah, if he's not careful, he's got it. DJ's secure. DJ's
he's good.
He's secure in where he's at, man.
I saw the tracking for Black Adam, and it's 55 to 75 million. Not a huge opening for a superhero movie these days.
Yeah, well, it's DC, you know. What do you say? But I'll go see it. You know, I'll go see it. I'll probably take Jackson to it. I don't know, maybe not, but we'll see.
I thought you were gonna say you're gonna take DJ too. You're gonna.
Well, you know what? I'm still waiting for my. We only have 1,000 or so subscribers, so I'm not too big. I keep waiting for my invite from DJ, but. It's in the mail. One day, I just want to shake the dude's hand and just thank him for everything. Yep.
Thank him for sure. Well, you know, speaking of thanking people for giving us incredible stuff.
Yeah.
We are having a hybrid nerd box question this week with a news item that is one of the all-time salutes from the Nerd Rundown. James Earl Jones has retired. I know people are going to be like, why are you going to think I'm telling him he's dead here?
Right.
James Earl Jones retires his voice acting after AI was used in recent Star Wars series like
Kenobi,
Obi-Wan Kenobi, but also in Rogue One.
Yes.
And so the AI company Respeecher now can use his voice moving forward, and James Earl, you know, for as long as they want, so forever.
Right.
So with that being said, Nerdbox question comes in from Uncle Frank, who says, should Lucasfilm Disney retire future Darth Vader appearances now that it's not going to be actual James Earl Jones, or just in honor of James Earl Jones? Eric, talked about Uncle Frank last week. He's a very seasoned Star Wars vet.
Yeah.
He's been there from the beginning and has grown with James Earl Jones as Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And him asking that question makes me think that he'd be okay with no more Darth Vader. What do you think?
I tend to agree with him. I think we on the podcast have kind of come to the conclusion that perhaps it's time, at least for the foreseeable future, to move on past the Skywalkers, both Luke and Anakin, you know, and then obviously Leia Skywalker. So
and apparently Rey Skywalker.
Right. Yeah. I'm sorry, who? Anyhow, I tend to agree with Uncle Frank. I don't see, you could maybe use it in like animated stuff, but as far as like live action things, I think we're all just ready. I think we're all just ready to move forward with different characters in the universe, and there's plenty of stories to tell. It's a gigantic universe. Universe there's a rich history of stuff that's happened before it. I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that happened after it, because after all, it was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So there's just so much stuff that you can mine. And who could be a worse villain than Darth Vader?
Right.
You know, there's gonna be darker people than him. There's gonna be different things. So I think, at least for the foreseeable future, it's okay to let this character go. At least I think. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I think that's such a great point. About there's so many more stories to tell. And when I think about that in contrast to Darth Vader, what more do we need to see from Darth Vader?
Right.
Because here's how Darth Vader still lives on, and 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 we still get more Darth Vader. There has been high acclaim for his comic series that has come out since Disney bought Lucasfilm, and they started expanding the Anakin Darth Vader story through the comics. That's where his story should just, if we're going to continue getting Darth Vader, that's the only place we should get it. We
Right.
don't need to see anything more from Darth Vader. What have we seen? We've seen him just one of the most badass scenes of all time in Rogue One.
Right.
Like, we're not going to get a better hallway scene than that from
Right.
Darth Vader.
Right.
We've seen him be the number one villain of all time. We've seen him be redeemed. We've seen his downfall. I don't need to see any more Darth Vader. And that's really, yes, there's way more stories to tell.
Right.
But keeping it in focus with Darth Vader, there's nothing more you can show me that I'm going to be wowed at.
Right. Yeah. In fact, it's almost the exact opposite. The more you show of this character, the less intimidating and the less value that you get out of the character, I guess.
Yep.
You know, I've mentioned it before. The
oversaturation.
Yeah, you get too much, and he loses the fear, if you will, or he loses the intimidation, if you will. Yeah. So I've said it before. The Nerd Writer 1 on YouTube. If you haven't watched, if you watched nothing else from him, which I recommend watching all of his videos because they're just absolutely terrific.
Yep.
And they're all like under 10 minutes. You know, for the most part, they're all under 10 minutes. But if nothing else, watch the Darth Vader. It's called Darth Vader, an icon in 34 minutes. And it is spectacular. It's 6.5 minutes long, and you'll watch it and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is spot on. But he talks.
It's one of the first YouTube videos you ever sent me, I feel like.
It's dynamite. It really is. And he's got just great commentary on a lot of different things. So can't recommend it highly enough. I think at the end of the day, I think it's time to let Vader go. I really do. This last go that they had with him in Kenobi, and I'll try to be spoiler free, if you will.
Ish.
Hayden Christensen does a good job, I think, of, it's kind of a hybrid voice, I guess, between him and Vader, but it's a good place to wrap that character. I really feel like it's a really great place to wrap that character up.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of it, you're like, okay, you know, and Obi-Wan can move on, and Vader can move on, and all of us can move on.
Maybe Obi-Wan's our vessel, like, as nerds, like, that was us moving on from Darth Vader.
Right. Yep. And like I said, there's more Force stories to tell. There's more Jedis.
Yeah.
There's more evil, you know, dark side Jedis, or your dark, you know, what are the Sith Lords? You know, there's just so many different stories there.
And you can tell those, you know what, if there are stories, tell them in the comics, because it's been successful since you bought Lucasfilm to that whole series.
Yep.
If you want to tell, because again, seriously, what more can we see? There's that 40-year time gap.
Right.
how much are we going to see in there that we haven't seen before?
Right.
Let him move ships with his mind in the comics.
Right. Yep.
A lot cheaper.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Great question. Uncle Frank, I salute you. The Nerd Rundown, we salute you, James Earl Jones.
Oh man, what a gem of a human being James Earl Jones has been. He just, I know he's
incredible.
Just retiring from that. I don't know if he's acting anymore. I haven't seen him in anything in a really long time, but
he's in his 90s.
He's so great. His monologue from Field of Dreams, where he talks about baseball, still gets me emotional. I get this lump in my throat because his vision, the vision of America that he talks about, and the love for the sport. I kind of contrast that with the movie Moneyball, where Brad Pitt's character is so not anti baseball, but he's just, until almost the end of the movie, where he says, how can you not be romantic about baseball? But when you listen to James Earl Jones give that monologue, you can't help but be romantic about baseball. I know football is the big sport, but baseball is a much more romantic game to watch and to kind of take part in. But and so listen to James Earl Jones talk about that. But such great characters. He even small roles, like he had James Greer in the Jack Ryan movies. He was in the Tom Clancy movies. Yeah. He was he played James Greer.
I forgot about that.
So yeah, just an amazing career. So we
there's some just small parts that he was in that just he blew people away.
Yeah,
I forget he's in that Jack Ryan. Yeah. Just, he will forever be enshrined in nerdom.
Well, and any baseball fan, also he plays the Sandlot, the guy, old man, the old man in the Sandlot, where everybody's afraid of him. He's like, why don't you just knock on the door? And they smack one of the kids. He's like, why don't I just go to the door and ask him, what are you, crazy? He's gonna... So, it's so great.
Oh man, I love that movie. If they ever redo that movie, I might burn down Hollywood.
He says, what does he say? He says, George, or he says, when he talks about Babe Ruth, he's George, so great. But the Lion King, he did the Lion King. I'm trying to look through his stuff. He did Mufasa.
That'll be interesting with that Mufasa movie coming out. I wonder if is he literally just retiring Darth Vader, or is he retiring all voice acting? It'll be interesting to
well, and we'll see if they'll use the re-speecher, if they'll do his voice for that one and stuff or not. So
I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Well, that will wrap up this episode of the Nerd Rundown. Eric, big announcement. Again, thank you for everything you do.
Thank you.
Thank you to all you listeners, all you nerds out there. We're all a nerd in our own way.
Yep.
So what kind of nerd are you? Let us know in the comments. And with that being said, we'll see you all next week on the Nerd Rundown.
See ya. Bye.